Behind the waitress apron lies a haunting legend. Now, a scorned mother will have her revenge. The diner buzzed with the kind of chatter that filled the air like smoke, thick and heavy. But, beneath the clinking of silverware and sizzling of bacon, something darker lingered. Olivia, a waitress with a perpetual smile, concealed more than just a stain on her apron. Tales whispered among regulars spoke of lingering spirits. The kind that wouldn't rest until their stories were told. Some claimed they were the lost souls of mothers who, in desperate times, took terrible turns. And that was just the beginning. As Olivia moved through the maze of booths, her eyes briefly met those of a child, no older than 6. He sat alone, tucked away in a corner, staring blankly. His gaze sent a shiver through her spine. Somehow, it felt like he wasn't quite connected to this world. It was as if he held a secret of painful history in his tiny hands. You didn't hear a giggle or even a whimper. Just silence, a silence that felt so wrong in a lively diner. When she refilled his drink, he didn't blink. "Do you see her?" he asked, voice shaking, eyes flickering toward the window. Olivia frowned, glancing outside, expecting to see a passerby. Nothing. Only shadows flitting through the dusk. Just then, the door swung open violently, a gust of wind spilling in. A frigid chill brushed against her skin, making her breath hitch as if someone had whispered her name. The regulars went quiet, and one elderly man muttered, "Not again." His wide eyes darted to the young boy, concern pooling in his gaze. What was happening? Olivia could feel a knot tightening in her stomach. There was something about tonight, something brewing beneath the surface. Suddenly, the boy pointed, trembling fingers directing attention to the diner's old jukebox, the same jukebox that had been faulty for years. But now, it flickered to life, crackling and wheezing a haunting tune from another time. The song echoed through the room, weaving in and out like a ghostly waltz. The lights flickered, and for a split second, shadows danced around the walls, as if the spirits were part of the dance, pulling the living into their tragic story. Fear wrapped around Olivia's heart, squeezing tightly. The collective gasp from the crowd sent adrenaline coursing through her veins. The boy's smile evaporated. "She's coming," he whispered, voice barely audible over the music, sending a cold chill through the diner. Who was coming? What would happen? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. The diner erupted into chaos, chairs scraping against linoleum as patrons scrambled. Olivia's heart raced like it might explode. There was no escaping that feeling. Something dark had seeped into their midst. She locked eyes with the boy again, desperation clawing at her throat. "What do you know?" she demanded. His response was a peculiar silence, a soft smile slowly creeping back onto his face as if he had unlocking something, a truth burdened by shadows. What could this child possibly know? And who was the woman coming for revenge? As fear thickened in the air like fog, Olivia felt the weight of the secrets press down on her, her knuckles going white around the edge of the table. The jukebox yelped, twisting the song to an unsettling end. Outside, night had fallen, hiding the truth just beyond the glass, and just like that, the horrific thought clanged in her mind: what if everything she thought she knew was just the beginning? Chaos reigned in the diner. Someone screamed, another chair crashed to the ground. Olivia could barely keep her footing as bodies jostled against her, desperate to escape the unsettling atmosphere. The old jukebox screeched, its eerie melody twisting the air into a thick, suffocating fog. She could hear snippets of conversations, a flurry of panic and confusion, but her focus remained fixated on that child. "What do you mean she's coming?" Olivia asked, her voice strained. The boy's smile twisted into a knowing smirk, his eyes glimmering with an unsettling mix of fear and excitement. There was something ancient, something primal in his look, as if he were the mouthpiece for a long-buried secret. "They can't help you now," he whispered, just loud enough for Olivia to hear over the panic. The wheezing of the jukebox crescendoed, drowning out the frantic cries. Outside, shadows lengthened, clawing in through the windows like fingers reaching for the warmth of the living. Olivia felt goosebumps race across her skin. There was something unnatural about it all, something just beyond the veil of normalcy, as if the diner had become a portal to another realm. "Get to the back. Now!" shouted the elderly man, waving his arms frantically. A wave of uncertainty washed over Olivia as she glanced back toward the kitchen. Safety felt a million miles away, yet fear propelled her into motion. She grabbed the boy's hand, a decision made on instinct. "Come with me." His fingers were soft, almost delicate, but the grip was firm. They dashed toward the back, hearts pounding in synchrony. Just as they reached the doorway, a chilling draft swept past them, snuffing out the flickering lights and plunging everything into darkness. Laughter unearthly and thin echoed in the blackness, bouncing off the walls with malicious glee. "Olivia!" It was her colleague's voice, laced with terror. "Help!" The sound cut off abruptly, replaced by a bone-chilling silence. Panic surged through Olivia. She turned to the boy, now wide-eyed, trembling. "What is it? What is happening?" "They're angry," he replied matter-of-factly. It was as if a storm had unleashed itself inside him, the tension palpable. "They want her back." "Who? Who do they want?" Olivia's voice raised, frantic. 1,000 thoughts collided in her mind, threatening to suffocate her with fear. In an instant, the jukebox erupted back to life, a different song, a wailing cry betraying agony and loss. The lights pulsed, illuminating the kitchen stage for just a moment. Dishes toppled, the stainless steel gleamed like sharp teeth ready to bite. Her heart pounded, it felt like time was suspended, each second a lifetime. Then, from the void came a whisper, a voice so cold it sent a shiver down her spine. "Olivia!" it echoed with a haunting familiarity. Desperately, she turned back to the boy, but he was no longer there. The diner twisted, a kaleidoscope of shadows and confusion. "Olivia!" The voice was closer now, smooth like velvet but filled with malice. "You have to choose." "Choose what?" Surrounded by the chilling void, she felt reality start to shift beneath her feet. Visions flashed in quick succession: families torn apart, mothers mourning lost children, revenge seeping into every crevice, each tragedy whispering her name. What if the ghosts of this diner were tied to her in ways she couldn't fathom? The jukebox screeched to another halt, and darkness closed in around her, suffocating, urging her to confront what lay behind the apron and the diner's haunted walls. And deep within the suffocating silence, Olivia realized she was not just a bystander in this tale of terror, she was a part of it. What price would she pay to uncover the truth? Would she risk everything or everyone she had to learn what this mother's revenge truly entailed? The darkness wrapped around Olivia like a heavy blanket, suffocating and disorienting. Every instinct screamed for her to run, to escape into a world she once took for granted. But she couldn't just stand there. Someone or something was waiting for her to make a choice. She felt the air thicken, almost pulsating with anticipation, as if the diner itself were alive, breathing, watching. "Olivia!" The voice, a pitiful echo of despair, clawed at her consciousness. It wasn't just a sound, it felt like a hand gripping her throat, squeezing tighter. Memories surged: her colleagues, those faces filled with panic, fear, and confusion. But now they were gone, swallowed in the shadows. "Who are you?" she shouted into the void, her voice tinged with desperation. "What do you want from me?" Silence answered her, chilling and deep. She could almost smell the decay seeping from the walls, the acrid scent of despair and regret. The last flickers of light around her faded into obscurity, but then, in the depths of the darkness, she noticed a solitary glow. It beckoned her like a distant star against a black sky. With trembling legs, she moved toward it, guided by an instinct she couldn't quite explain. The closer she got, the more she saw, the faint outline of the boy, his eyes brighter than before, glinting with a light that felt both comforting and ominous. "Help me," he said, a whisper barely cutting through the thick air. "You need to help her." "Who is her?" Olivia felt a tight knot in her stomach, a sensation that melded fear with confusion. The boy didn't respond directly, he just pointed to the shimmering light behind him. Beyond him, she could see a figure forming in the shadows. It twisted like the wisps of smoke, gradually solidifying into the shape of a woman. The spectral figure's face was shrouded in shadows, but Olivia could feel the rage and sorrow radiating from her like heat from a fire. "Help me," the woman's voice twisted through the air, a long-forgotten lullaby mixed with a cry for vengeance. In that moment, Olivia was confronted not only with fear but an undeniable sorrow that brightened the spectre's once vibrant features. "What happened to you?" she gasped, her heart pounding wildly as she felt the truth close in on her. The woman's lips moved, but no sound emerged. Instead, the air trembled with unvoiced sorrows. "Olivia." The boy's voice cut sharply through her reverie. The choice. What was she supposed to do? Her mind raced, twisting with images of the diner, of its history, its pain, its loss. She realized the truth was not just lurking behind the mysteries of the diner, it was woven into the fabric of her very being. The lost spirits were trapped, longing for her to understand their pain, their unfinished tales. "Please, you can't leave us," the boy pleaded, his small voice shaking. "You have to choose. Save her, or let them keep suffering." The weight of his words crashed down on her, a tidal wave of responsibility. Her heart raced, each beat underscoring the gravity of what was at stake. She could save the woman, but at what cost? The thought sent chills down her spine. Was she prepared to unleash the fury of vengeful souls? Did she have it in her to carry that burden, to walk a path drenched in blood and sorrow, and above all, was she willing to confront the echoes of her own past buried within that diner? In that electric moment, Olivia felt a primordial surge stir within her. The time for action was now. She steadied herself, staring into the spectral eyes. "I'll help you," she declared with newfound determination. "Tell me what I need to do." But as those words left her lips, the diner trembled violently, a quake of rage rippling through the very foundations. The jukebox roared back to life, playing a haunting melody, mixed with screams that clawed at the edges of her sanity. A decision had been made, and now there was no turning back. Shadows clenched their fists, ready to unleash what they had been holding tight for so long. Would Olivia emerge from the shadows, or was she destined to join the restless souls forever? The truth loomed. On the edge of revelation, a revelation that would shake the very core of who she was and what she believed. The ground shook beneath her feet as the jukebox screeched, unleashing a cacophony that rattled the walls. Olivia staggered back, the vibration sending shockwaves through her core, but the boy's gaze drew her back into the fray. There was urgency in his eyes, a desperate plea for action. "Now. You need to act before it's too late," he shouted, his voice fighting against the chaos that threatened to swallow them whole. The spectral woman swirled ominously, her sorrow laying heavy like smog. "Release me," she whispered again, and this time, the anguish in her voice resonated with the pulse of the diner, intertwining with the sound of the wailing ghostly melody. What did it mean to be released? A part of Olivia knew, deep down, that this journey was about uncovering truths long buried within her own heart. It was about confronting not just the souls after vengeance, but the pain she had tried to mask for so long, the weight of loss, and the shadows of regrets that shadowed her every step. "Tell me what to do," she cried, the desperation cracking her voice. In response, the ghostly woman raised her hand, revealing a silver locket that glimmered in the darkness. It pulsed with an ethereal light, casting an eerie glow in the room. "You must find it, Olivia, find my locket. It holds the key to my freedom and to the truth." Uncertainty coursed through her. "Where?" Her heart thudded violently against her ribs, the pressure rising in her chest. But the woman's face remained obscured. She could feel the shackles of time tightening around the souls trapped in the diner, as if the very walls were closing in. Endless echoes beneath the floorboards, shadows whisper secrets, came the haunting reply, as if it echoed from everywhere at once. The shadows began churning faster, swirling around Olivia like raging waters drawing her in. The boy took a brave step forward, the rest of him flickering like a candle flame. You have to trust them. They need you. Olivia's resolve wavered for a moment. Was she truly ready to face whatever was hidden beneath the diner's surfaces? Part of her screamed to run, but curiosity and compassion entwined her feet to the ground. The very souls of this place were counting on her. She couldn't turn away from their torment. With a sudden surge of determination, she moved toward the nearest booth, its once bright colors fading into muted grays, still sticky with age and neglect. Bending down, she tapped her fingertips against the wooden floor, feeling the coolness of the boards beneath. Here, beneath this very surface, lay the echoes of the past tales of joy and sorrow. Amidst the turmoil, she began to scrape at the edges where the boards met. As if responding to her touch, a low growl filled the air, a vibration that sent chills racing down her spine. It was like the diner itself was alive, waking to her presence, resisting yet beckoning her deeper into its dark history. There was a groan above her as a beam of light abruptly splintered through the shadows, illuminating her path. Only then did she notice the glint of something nestled amid the dust and grime, a silver locket, half hidden, waiting to be found. She reached out, almost in a trance, heart racing with the promise and peril wrapped within her fingertips. As she pulled the locket free, the jukebox screeched to a deafening pause, plunging the diner into pristine silence. The boy gasped, the fading echoes of a mournful cry reverberated through the air, and Olivia held the locket, a shimmering link to the woman and her plight. Suddenly, the room grew colder, shadows whispering in a tongue Olivia could hardly comprehend. She looked around, heart pounding, every instinct warning her of the storm brewing just outside the edges of her resolve. Now you must decide. The boy urged, determination etched into his features. Will you face what lies ahead? Will you unravel the truth and free her? In that moment, a dark shiver rippled through her, igniting a conflict within. The weight of the locket was both a burden and a promise of answers and consequences. What had she truly awakened? Would retrieving the locket draw her deeper into a nightmare, or could it guide her to salvation? Olivia felt the fate of the diner and its tormented souls hang perilously in the balance, ready to be unveiled at her next breath. Desperate breaths escaped her lips, drowning in the uncertainty that lay ahead. One thing was clear, she was no longer just a bystander, but a player in a game woven with shadows and light, where every action could lead to salvation or doom. With the locket clutched in her palm, she braced herself for the unknown. What would the locket reveal, and who was the woman truly seeking release? As Olivia prepared for the challenge, a powerful gust coursed through the diner, rattling the windows and clawing at her spirit. The truth trembled just out of reach, and fate awaited her choice. The locket felt impossibly heavy in Olivia's palm, pulsing like a beating heart against her skin. She glanced at the boy, whose eyes were wide with a mixture of fear and fierce determination. Shadows swirled around them, seeming to react to her very presence, each movement sending the chill of dread creeping further down her spine. What do I do with it? She whispered, hardly able to hear her own voice amid the rising chaos. The spectral woman hovered nearby, her expression a blend of hope and despair. Open it. Show her you are willing to help. The boy urged, his voice fragile yet insistent. Olivia held her breath, turning the locket over in her hand. It was cold, the cool silver contrasting sharply against her warm skin. As she fumbled with the clasp, her pulse quickened. Would this be a link to the past or a gateway to something darker? With a sharp click, the locket sprang open. The dim light flickered across the diner, revealing the tiny photographs nestled inside, a young girl, eyes bright and innocent, and another shadowy figure that made Olivia's breath hitch. It was a woman, tracing a line that hinted at heartache. They looked close family. A flicker of recognition surged through Olivia. Is this you? She asked, glancing at the woman, but the ghost's face contorted in grief, transforming the ethereal beauty into something grotesque and tragic. "Not just me," the woman whispered, her voice cracking. "Her name is Emma. I lost her and I became lost." The air thickened with sorrow, and Olivia felt her own heart shatter for the loss this woman had endured. The weight of it bore down on her like lead. "You loved her, yes." The ghost's voice grew louder, filled with longing. "But it was my wrath that lost her even more. The man, he never returned her." "Who?" A tremor shook Olivia's voice. "Who is the man?" "Caleb," the spectral woman wailed, "he took her. They were supposed to be safe. I wanted them to leave this wretched place. I was too late." As she spoke, a violent wind swept through the diner, rattling the dishes and cascading shadows that danced wildly. Olivia staggered back, clutching the locket tighter. Everything felt as if it might collapse: time, space, and the reality of anguish that spun in a vortex. "We need to find out what happened to Emma," Olivia murmured. "We can know," the boy cried, his voice cutting through the chaos. "You have to be cautious. Sometimes what you find might not be what you wish to see." Before Olivia could react, the diner's atmosphere thickened, the very walls closing in on them. A shadowy figure emerged from the corners, a man with hollow eyes, lurking around the edges as if waiting to strike. Olivia's heart raced as she caught a glimpse of a familiar face slipping into the darkness, echoing with haunting familiarity. "Caleb," she breathed, terrified. The spectre paused, and then began to float forward, icy air trailing behind him. Olivia felt a primal instinct to flee, a surge of fear that threatened to spill over. "What do you want?" she demanded, trying to muster courage. "Release her," he rasped, bitterness lacing his tone. Only then can you understand. The shadows pulsed around him, weaving a tapestry of despair that enveloped the diner like a shroud. Olivia's hands trembled, thoughts racing. Could she truly release this woman without considering the consequences? Every breath felt like an eternity. Was she ready to confront the truth, to untangle this fate? The diner thickened with impending danger, and Olivia could feel the awakening secrets clawing to escape. "Make your choice, Olivia," the boy urged, desperation in his eyes. "Will you set them free, or will the cycle of tragedy continue through you?" With the weight of the locket heavy in her palm, Olivia took one long, shuddering breath. Time froze, every heartbeat counting down to a fragile decision. What would be unleashed if she took the plunge? The diner seemed to hold its breath, waiting for her next move. Fear coiled around Olivia like a serpent, squeezing tighter with every passing second. The man's presence enveloped her, the chill emanating from him a stark contrast to the heat of her anxiety. She felt the locket's sharp edges digging into her skin, anchoring her to this moment of reckoning. "Release her," Caleb repeated, the words slithering into her mind. They hung in the air, heavy with dread. The boy beside her was trembling, his eyes darting between Olivia and the ghostly figure. She could feel his worry, an electric shock that surged through them both. "Why?" she shouted, her voice breaking through the silence that filled the diner. "What do you mean? What does it even mean to release her? To you?" Caleb's hollow eyes lit up, an unsettling glimmer of madness reflecting back at her. "You think carrying that weight will set her free? The truth is a double-edged sword. When you search for answers, prepare to see the horror hidden beneath." "Stop!" the boy blurted, taking a step forward, desperation anchoring him. "You don't understand, Olivia. Every choice carries a price. If you open that door, you might lose yourself in the darkness." Olivia's heart pounded, the walls of the diner closing in on her, shadows swirling menacingly. The filtered moonlight from the window cast sinister shapes that flickered, highlighting every inch of fear displayed on the boy's face. He was terrified that this would end badly, she could feel it radiating from him, but there was also an undeniable pull, a sense of purpose that beckoned her forward. Emma. The girl in the locket. She needed to know what happened to her. Olivia slowly turned to face the spectral woman, whose gaze pleaded with her. "Emma," she said softly, her heart aching. What happened to you? The locket grew significantly colder as she moved closer to the spectral figure. The air shifted, charged with anger and sorrow. The diner walls felt almost alive, vibrating with the turmoil that erupted from within. Shadows began to dance more wildly, as if eager to consume the room with fury. With renewed resolve, Olivia pressed the locket open a little wider. The photos glowed dimly, now illuminating the ghostly figure that stood before her. "I will help you find her," she stated firmly, her voice ringing with resolve. It felt like a promise, but one laced with uncertainty. Caleb laughed, a chilling sound that echoed through the void created by grief and fear. "Help her? You do not know the depths of the darkness you tread." Emma was never meant to be lost, but the bond of love can tear apart what it holds dear. The boy's expression turned taut, his brow knitting together in worry. "What if she doesn't want to return? What if you summon something worse?" "Something worse?" Caleb echoed, his smirk widening. "What could be worse than this unending sorrow? The truths you uncover will reveal the ties of pain that bind us, pain so deep, it may drown you." Olivia's resolve faltered slightly. She could feel an icy wind whispering through the diner, curling her hair as it slithered over her skin. "Then let me face it. Let me confront whatever horror lies in the past." "Do you dare?" Caleb hissed. "Then prepare. Open the door, and step into her memories. But no, you might not be ready for what you will find." As if sensing her hesitation, the boy gripped Olivia's wrist, grounding her. "You can choose another path. There's still time." But time was running out, and deep down, Olivia knew she had to see it through. She was the only one who could connect the fragments of love and loss. And as she prepared to plunge deeper into the unknown, the shadows trembled, and a faint whisper called her name. Olivia, her heart raced. What awaited her beyond the veil? And what would she reveal about the darkness looming over them all? As the air crackled with raw energy, she took a step forward. Would she find liberation, or would the truth plunge her deeper into despair? The air thickened around Olivia as she took another step toward the spectral figure. The shadows writhed, twisting like serpents hungry for the light that she was trying to summon. Each breath felt heavier than the last, the weight of expectation pressing down on her chest. "Don't," the boy whispered, panic lacing his words. "You don't know what you're inviting." Ignoring him, Olivia looked into Emma's sorrowful eyes, searching for any hint of bravery among the despair. "I'm not afraid," she said, more to convince herself than anyone else. Caleb leaned in, his intensity igniting a flicker of fear in her gut. "Are you so certain? There are fates worse than death, and in her memories lies the key." With a trembling hand, Olivia raised the locket high, the dim light illuminating the faces trapped within. "Emma, show me!" she cried out. The words escaped her lips like an incantation, sending a ripple through the air. Suddenly, the locket pulsed with energy, resonating with a cacophony of voices that bounced off the diner walls. It was as if the memories themselves were trying to break free, clawing against the confines of time and space. Olivia felt herself being pulled closer, almost against her will. She could hear them now, the laughter, the pain, the whispered secrets. "Olivia," a voice called, softer than the others but laden with entreaty. It beckoned her to step into the memories, to embrace the past that had led to this fractured moment. With one final glance at the boy, who glanced back wide-eyed with dread, she plunged her hand into the locket's light, feeling a jolt of electricity surge through her. Darkness enveloped her, swallowing her whole, and when the shadows faded, she found herself in a different place, an old park bathed in dusk, where laughter danced like fireflies. Children played beneath the trees, their joyful shrieks cutting through the silence of her heart. Yet, in the distance, a chill cloud enveloped the park's edge. Where am I?" she breathed, her voice trembling. It felt like a dream, but the sensations were all too real. The grass underfoot was damp, the sweet scent of blooming flowers tinged with something acrid that made her stomach turn. A figure emerged from the shadows, standing beneath the arch of an ancient oak tree, the same tree she could vaguely recall in fragmented memories, a symbol of both joy and heartache. "Emma!" Olivia called out, rushing forward, but the figure didn't move. Instead, she remained still, her face a mask of sorrow. The air grew dense, charged with memories of longing. She hadn't anticipated this personal glimpse, where the lines of past and present blurred. "Why did you come here?" Emma's voice was distant yet close, a strange echo. Her eyes held an abyss of pain, reminding Olivia of the story etched within the locket. "I wanted to help you find peace. I need to know what happened to you," Olivia said, desperation threading her words. Emma's expression softened, but a flicker of anger sparked within. "You think you can bargain for my freedom? What you uncover may destroy you, Olivia. My past is riddled with the burdens of betrayal and a mother's vengeance." Suddenly, the laughter of the children faded, replaced by a howling wind. Olivia's heart raced, pulse pounding in her ears. The park began to shift. It twisted and buckled under pressure, cracking like an old painting peeling off the walls of time. Then, shadowy figures emerged around Emma, their forms contorted with anguish and rage. They loomed closer, choking the light with their presence. It was no longer just Emma's past that she was confronting, it was the darkness that followed her, the vengeful spirits bound to a tragic fate. "Please, Olivia. You must turn back. You can still escape this fate," Emma shouted, her voice straining against the chaos, but in that moment, Olivia felt the locket pulsing against her chest, resonating with something powerful. She caught a glimpse of a woman in the shadows, eyes filled with malice. A mother, a figure she must reckon with. Just as the darkness closed in around her, Olivia felt herself being pulled back, torn from the vision. The diner rematerialized in a whirlwind of confusion, shadows writhing angrily around her. "Did you see?" Caleb's voice cut through the din, eyes wide with panic. "It's worse than we imagined." Breathless, Olivia clutched the locket tightly. The truth had only begun to unfurl, and now she was entangled in the very heart of darkness. What had she awakened? Could she confront the lingering pain and the specters of tragedy? As dread coursed through her, the answer hovered tantalizingly close, wrapped in a truth she yet had to uncover. What would she risk to break the cycle of despair? And who would ultimately pay the price? The diner shimmered like a mirage around Olivia, its once warm embrace now chilling her to the bone. Caleb's urgent eyes seemed to plead for clarity as he grabbed her shoulders, shaking her slightly. "What did you see, Olivia? Was it her mother?" Heart racing, Olivia blinked hard, trying to shake off the remnants of the past that felt all too real. There were shadows. They were angry, Caleb. There's more to Emma's story than we thought. It's tied to a mother's vengeance. Caleb recoiled as if struck. A mother? In the legend, she was just a ghost haunting the old park. No one mentioned a mother getting revenge. Tension prickled the air as Olivia closed her eyes, replaying Emma's haunted expression. But there was something so powerful about her, I could feel her pain. "We have to go back, to understand what really happened." "No." The boy's voice cracked, urgency morphing into fear. "What if you don't return? What if it consumes you?" His words hung heavy between them. Olivia's mind raced. What had happened to Emma? Desperation clawed at her heart. "I won't let her suffer alone. I need to know." Caleb exhaled sharply, a look of helplessness clouding his features. "Then we need to prepare. If we are going back, we'll need a plan. That darkness isn't just an illusion, it's alive, and it's waiting." Before Olivia could reply, the diner door swung open abruptly, a gust of frigid wind rushing in, stirring a flurry of dust into the air. At first, she thought it was merely a draft, but as Caleb moved toward the entrance, his face paled. There, framed in the doorway, was a figure cloaked in shadows, the outline reminiscing and familiar. "Help me," came a hollow voice that struck like ice through Olivia's veins. It was Emma, tethered between worlds, her face twisted in anguish. "Emma!" Olivia gasped, stepping forward. But the spectral figure only wavered, caught in a liminal space, her features flickering, the shadows from the corners of the diner thrummed with discontent, wrapping tighter around Emma's form. You must uncover the truth. Only then can you break the curse. Caleb trembled beside Olivia, glancing back toward the darkened booths, where the shadows pulsed with life. Is this a trap? We can't just chase after her. But Olivia was already moving, a pull that felt both magnetic and terrifying. We have to try. With a sudden rush, she reached out, and before Caleb could protest, her hand passed through Emma's form. The cold shocked her system, sending shivers down her spine. Everything swirled, and in the blink of an eye, the diner faded into a cacophony of echoes, a swirling vortex of laughter, murmurs, and the sharp crack of betrayal. They were thrown into a realm of memories once more. The park materialized around Olivia and Caleb, but now it was darker, littered with the shadows of what had once been. Laughter was replaced by a mournful wail that reverberated through the trees. It's not just Emma, it's her mother. We need to find her. Olivia yelled, desperation clawing at her throat. They plunged deeper into the heart of the haunted park, the scenery shifting and twisting like a surreal nightmare. Emma's voice echoed ominously through the dark. You must confront the choices that led to my ruin. A figure burst from the shadows, a woman cloaked in darkness, her heart-wrenching eyes locking onto Olivia with an intensity that paralyzed her. Pain and fury radiated from the apparition's presence, creating a palpable tension that threatened to crush Olivia's spirit. Your meddling has awoken forces you do not understand. The woman shrieked, her voice a thunderclap against the silence. You dare to challenge my legacy? With a blade of marrow-deep fear slicing through her, Olivia understood. The reckoning was upon her. This was not just about uncovering Emma's fate, it was about facing a mother scorned, a restless spirit demanding retribution. Run! Caleb shouted, adrenaline surging. But Olivia stood her ground, heart pounding in tandem with the myths of the past. Was she ready to walk the line between the living and the damned? Did she possess the strength to forgive, to break the cycle? With the specter approaching, anger and grief swirling around them, a choice hung in the air, to flee or to fight. Could she withstand the tempest of emotions, or would this encounter unravel everything she held dear? What secrets lay buried in the shadows of vengeance, just waiting to be unearthed? The air grew thick, a tangible tension wrapping around Olivia like a shroud. She could feel Caleb's presence beside her, a magnet of frightened energy, urging her to retreat. But all she could hear was the wail of the specter, an echo of furious whispers, memories that clawed at her mind. Your greed for truth will lead to tragedy. The shadow woman hissed. Olivia could feel her heart hammering, sweat trickling down her back. The air crackled with raw energy, each word charged with a chilling force. Caleb's grip tightened on her wrist, but Olivia's gaze held steady, locked onto the figure before her. What do you want? She demanded, her voice steadying against the chaos surrounding them. The boldness felt strange against the fear knotting her stomach, but she had to know. The apparition took a step closer, the air thickening around her. What did you do to her? The specter growled, voice layered with centuries of sorrow and anger. The choice to walk away delivered her to darkness. Now you come seeking answers. Olivia stumbled back, the truth hitting her with the force of a tidal wave. We didn't mean to silence. The mother shrieked, eyes ablaze with the fury of the unavenged. Olivia felt the shadows throb in unison, moving like a living sea around them, hungry and restless. To possess knowledge is to bear responsibility. You abetted her silent suffering. Caleb's voice trembled. What are you talking about? We're trying to help her. He stepped between Olivia and the seething darkness, but couldn't contain the fear spilling from his words. We don't understand, we just want to help. Help? The woman's laughter echoed eerily, a sound void of warmth. You think you can break chains forged in pain and betrayal? Impossible. Break the cycle. You are merely threads in a tapestry that I weave. Olivia's resolve began to crack as doubt seeped in. The true weight of their quest bore down on her. What can we do? Please, a heart twisted by grief is still a heart. Find the truth buried in the dirt of forgotten choices, the figure advised, voice lowering to a hiss, barely above the whispering breeze. Only then will you stand a chance to unseat the darkness. The surroundings flickered, glimpses of memories streaked across Olivia's vision, a child's laughter, a mother's embrace, then the sudden silence of betrayal. Pain lanced through her as Emma's tragedy unfolded, tearing her heart apart. Wait! She called out, pushing past her fear. I'll find her. I'll break the curse. The shadow woman loomed, her presence growing larger, energy pulsating like a heartbeat. Then, suddenly, she seemed to recede, the air lightening for just a moment. Then seek within the place you fear the most. The truth shall reveal her fate or seal yours. Caleb tugged at Olivia's arm, urgency in his gaze. What if it's a trap? We can't trust her. I have to try. Olivia insisted, with the fierce determination of someone staring directly into the face of an unforgiving past. The darkness shifted again, forming a winding path deep into the shadows of the park. She took a step forward, then another, propelled by a force that felt both protective and perilously weak. I'll find Emma, Olivia whispered to herself, stepping forward into the enveloping shadows. But do you dare sacrifice everything for someone lost in despair? Came the echoing voice, settling into the trembling branches as she vanished from sight. That I in the depths of the dark, where whispers wound into screams, Olivia's heart thudded louder with every thought. Each step felt like pushing against a tidal wave. Was she ready to confront her darkest fears? The shadows danced, a shattering laughter echoing from all around. She was in the depths of a storm, and the echoes of the vengeful past were fighting to break free. With her pulse hammering, Olivia realized the truth was not just lurking ahead, it was rooted deep, tied to her soul, screaming to be uncovered, begging to be heard. But when she finally unearthed the secrets, could she bear what they revealed? As she moved deeper into the wailing night, one question hung heavy in the air: would the truth save her, or was it destined to destroy them all? Olivia plunged deeper into the shadows, her heart racing like a wild horse. The darkness felt alive, wrapping around her, trying to suffocate her spirit. The memory of Emma's pain echoed in her mind, weaving into the very fabric of her being. She could almost hear the child's laughter, and then the sudden chill that followed, a haunting reminder that loss and betrayal were always nearby. Olivia, wait. Caleb's voice pierced through the thick fog of despair, but she pressed on, determination fueling her steps. She had to unravel the truth. In the silence, the specter of Emma's mother loomed, a constant reminder of the stakes. Suddenly, the ground beneath her shifted, and shadows spiraled upward like mist, forming a chilling vortex. She felt the pull of forgotten secrets, the air thickening as wisps of history began to swirl around her. A faint light flickered in the distance, warm amidst the icy grip of night. Find me, a soft voice called from the darkness, delicate yet unyielding. Emma. I'm coming. Olivia shouted, driven forward by the urgency in her heart. The remnants of the past converged into a space where memories intertwining with her own fears awaited the light of truth. As she stepped closer to the glow, she found herself surrounded by translucent images: a mother holding a child, laughter cascading down like silver droplets. But as she pushed further, the laughter twisted into wails of despair, and the images grew dark, shifting into a landscape filled with anguish and betrayal. Why did you leave? A voice echoed, not just Emma's but the cries of countless mothers, filled with unspeakable grief and fury. Each confession coursed through her veins, urging her to confront her own buried pain. The shadows danced around escalated voices, whispering of regret and vengeance tied to a mother's unyielding love. Emma! Olivia cried again, desperate to break through the veil. The shadows circled tighter, ensnaring her, but with every ounce of will, she forced herself onward. I won't let your story be lost. What do you want from me? Just then, the light pulsed, revealing Emma, her expression tear-streaked yet resolute. You must face her, the one who lost so much. Unravel the ties that bind our souls. Only then can we find peace. Release her, echoed the chilling voice of Emma's mother, dark energy swirling like a tempest, consuming the memories. I can't. Olivia shouted, fear choking her voice. I don't even know how. You feel her pain too, don't you? Emma whispered, eyes glimmering. You share our sorrow. Use that. Choose love over fear. But in that instant, the shadows surged, making Olivia stagger back as Emma's mother materialized, fury blazing in her eyes. What do you know of love? The spectre hissed. You're just a girl lost in this web. I know enough. Olivia responded, conviction replacing her initial fear. I'm not your enemy. I want to help both of you. Suddenly, a calm washed over the turmoil. The shadows slowed, as if pausing to consider her declaration. The darkness began to twist back, compassion flickered alongside the rage. Olivia stepped forward, heart pounding but emboldened by truth. I choose to listen. She proclaimed, her voice echoing with strength. I want to understand the choices that have brought you both pain. Let me help you find closure. The mother's expression shifted, conflict swirling within the depths of her gaze. Do you truly wish to carry the burden of my loss? She asked, her voice lower now, filled with a haunting sorrow. Yes. Olivia affirmed. I will face whatever darkness comes from it. You deserve to find peace. Both of you. In that moment, the spectre recoiled, the weight of grief and loss melding into a wave of energy. Shadows curled around Olivia, and she braced herself, ready to confront whatever waited on the other side. What must I do? She demanded, the spectral mother's fury softened by her tender pain. Slowly, the spectre unraveled, revealing a glimmer of hope among the suffocating dark. Show me your heart is pure, face the truth, and unlock the pain buried deep. As shadows bowed away, Olivia felt the locket warm against her chest, the powerful pull resonating with hope. Clasping it tightly, she breathed in strength, forcing the curtains of trauma to part. I will unbury the truth. She cried, tears of determination forming in her eyes. I will find Emma and free you both. With a heart racing, she could feel the weight of the past shift, revealing a path forward. The specters of the mothers, the pain of betrayal, and the longing for tales of love and sacrifice poured into her twisting, conflicting, yet remarkably sound. As the shadows swirled, melding into a symphony of pain and forgiveness, Olivia found herself enveloped in light's warmth flickered in the air, urging her forward. Courage ignited within her, the promise of redemption shining brightly. Together. She shouted into the void, we will fight for your peace. The shadows grew dim as truth emerged, inviting hope into a broken world. With every heartbeat, realities shifted, painful truths and long-lost memories were finally reclaimed, revealing the light they had waited so long to embrace. As the echoes of fears dissipated, blossoming into a soft radiance, Olivia felt transformed, no longer just a player in their tragedy but a bridge between their past and future, one woven by shared stories, newfound connections, and the resonance of compassion. And in that embrace, all was set into motion, the heaviness of sorrow, the utopia of compassion, and the promise that mothers and daughters would not be torn apart by darkness ever again. In that diner, the walls breathed a sigh of relief, the pain easing as warmth spread, coating the once haunted space in an atmosphere of love. Olivia smiled through her tears, knowing they had all written new chapters in the legacy of loss and healing together. But that was just the beginning. The diner doors swung open, welcoming the warmth of life and laughter, each new dawn a chance for remembrance and unity. And with that, the past finally laid to rest, Olivia embraced the new. Now, it's time for you to take action. You need to subscribe now, so you won't miss any of our next exclusive stories unfolding right here. Smash that like button, feed the algorithm, and let us grow this community together. Flood the comments with your reactions and theories about this wild ending. What did you think, and what catches your attention? And don't wait even one more second to share this story with at least 5 friends who need to experience this journey. This is the moment to show your support. Let us embark on this incredible adventure together.